I never know when it's actually going. It says setting up. It says done. Welcome back to another lovely episode of the Golly Man's Perspective on Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Jory O'Neill, and I'm here with my brother and co-host, Terrence Wilson. So excited to have you here on the podcast with me today, brother. Just making sure it's live. We are live, for real, we live. So
Let's go. Let's go.
today we're gonna have a conversation about something that's not easy, but it's necessary. And that conversation is gonna be on how childhood trauma shows up in marriage and why healing yourself is so important, not only for yourself but also for your spouse. So, I want to start off by thanking you for having this conversation with me, even though you didn't really want to, but I was sharing the direction that we're going in for this season is all about mental health and how that comes into play within our marriage. So let's start. When we say childhood trauma, what does that mean to you personally? Let's define the word first, so we are clear on what we're talking about. What does childhood trauma mean to you?
So two things come to my mind when you ask that question. What does childhood trauma means to me? So one is like just things you've been through as a kid, but I'm gonna take it a little bit deeper. I'll say for men, it's when you decide it's everything that happens before you decide to be a man. Like we grow up as boys, as they say, boys to men, but some of us never really hit that men stage, or we still do things that we would do when we adolescents compared to things that we should be doing as a grown man. So our mindset is still the same. So anything dealing with childhood trauma for me will be anything I will relate to from the change of my mindset. So it's not just going to be me being as a little kid. It's going to be me all the way up into the point to where I say, "Damn, Terrence, you need to put on your grown man outfit and get changed the ways you move all together." So that'll be my childhood trauma. So anything I talk about or discuss is going to be from that the day I made that decision to man up, pretty much all the way back.
Okay. So I guess now that we have an understanding, I guess a working definition, when did you realize that some of the things from your childhood were still affecting you as an adult?
Oh, I'll probably say till I was 40. Yeah, I'll probably say 40. Maybe go a little bit younger and could probably go to like 35, maybe. Um, yeah, I'll probably say around that time frame between 35 and 40.
So that being said, then when you first got married, you didn't have any awareness of how your past might impact your relationship.
Right, right. So I mean, for those who've been following the show, know I've been married multiple times already within my young 47 years. So yeah, I will actually say yes, not realizing that, and each one it was a different thing was being exposed from that trauma. So each one was something different. It's something that wasn't being uh what's the word I'm looking for? Addressed to work on the healing process. Like I'm still in the healing process, but it was able to, each thing came about and I just pushed it off like, it's whatever, you know what I mean? If they don't want to move the way I need them to move, then on to the next type stuff. But um yeah, so I definitely say when I first got married, my very first wife, I think I was still living in my 15, 16, 17-year-old mindset. Even though I had a kid, I knew, from dad, I knew I had to work. That's one thing he instilled in me was working to take care of the family. But everything else, the way I was moving was still as if I was a teenager.
Mm. So, uh, when was the first time you realized that like something that had happened, some conflict, some rift in your marriage, where you were like, "Wow"? this isn't even about my wife. Like, this is actually about me.
You know what? I would probably say I will probably say at that point it might have been the second, maybe towards the end of my second marriage. Well, towards the end of my second marriage and my Islamic marriage. So I would probably say it was right around that time frame. So let's say 2000, see, 14, 15, 16 area around that time frame. So it'd be around that time. So that'll put me at like what, 38, 39, somewhere around there.
So you had essentially been married at that point 2.5 to 3 times before you realized that some of the issues or some of the things that needed to be addressed weren't necessarily like a us thing, but it was like a you thing or like a me thing.
Right, right. It was more of a me thing because there's a lot of things that I never dealt with. Like I was always angry. I still got anger issues right now, but it was you know I held on to a grudge far as to my mom and my aunties and everybody in the family for grandma funeral being on my birthday. So I held on to that, not knowing that that was something that was hindering me from moving forward. Um, I had some issues with females back in the day, also, so that triggered a certain way that I dealt with women. You know, growing
let's
up
let's
with
I want to frame it so that people can actually like apply a lot of this learning that you've been able to do. And thank you so much again just for being willing to have this conversation. When you said some issues dealing with females, like I know what they are, so I just want to know, do I have permission to be like there were issues of infidelity, right? There were issues of betrayal, there were issues of mistrust, right? So when because I want to make sure that people understand like there was causation, like not that you're a saint, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You did no wrong, you're capable of doing no wrong, but there's always causation. Like there's something that
right,
occurs that then creates these feelings, this trauma, these reactions, these triggers,
yeah,
these even I want to say like comfortable behaviors. Not that they are productive, not that they're healthy, but they're comfortable. These comfortable
right,
behaviors and these
right.
things that we keep going back to. So when you say issues with females in the past when you were younger, are you talking just about the infidelity in terms of like them betraying your trust, or they're talking about something else? Did they steal from you?
It,
Like
it was all like so trust issues. Like I say, I wasn't no saint, but once I decided to deal with like one person, you know, say, hey, I'm in a relationship with you, or we in a relationship, what are we? This is what we are. Okay, great. Let's move forward. Some of that, did I know how to be in a relationship? Nah, I didn't. However, when you start to disclose certain things to the person who you thinking you finna be with and build with, even at a younger age, you expecting them to hold that to themselves. So certain things that happened when I was a kid, I told someone and then they told someone and then it just so me opening up to a female to tell them how I felt throughout from that point on, it was always shut off. I wouldn't give them that, the satisfaction of knowing more about me, outside of the stuff that I really didn't care if they knew or not.
so it's safe to say that those experiences caused you to emotionally withhold who you were from whomever you were dealing with, whether it was a long-term relationship, on the fly relationship, just in general.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so hindsight, do you think it's dangerous to enter into marriage without dealing with your past trauma?
I think it's dangerous to enter a marriage not knowing who you are. So I'm not gonna say like, so sometimes the childhood trauma can prevent you from knowing who you actually are. You know, just moving forward. Like if like with me and Chelsea, to be transparent with me and Chelsea, going into this marriage, I had already started going through therapy. Dealing with who I am, dealing with my confidence. Like it's crazy how a lot of people like I would never expect you to be uh like feel like you don't have confidence because the way you carry yourself and it's like that, but it's all a facade. Men carry on this thing like, and some women do it too. Y'all better at it than we are, but we will hold on to it to and give you a version of what you want of us, even though we're not that version. Like we will act like we that person, and deep down we nowhere near who that person is. Because we don't know who we are. So I would say not dealing with it going into the marriage, yeah, but dealing with it going into the marriage is great because now you have a partner who hopefully know what you're going through so they can help you get through it when this is really tough for you to get through it. Like I'm grateful for Chelsea right now. Like for real. I'm so grateful for her because like, I can sit here and say, yeah, do I flirt? Not intentionally, but I'm very flirtatious, but I also make sure I come home and I flirt with her. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna tell her like, when I'm talking to other females, it's strictly me talking to them about whatever it is that we're talking about, far as businesses or workouts or just life in general. It's nothing means like, oh yeah, you're so beautiful. Let's link up. None of that. I'll give them a compliment, but I'll also come home and tell my wife that I gave this girl a compliment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm big on that now because beforehand it was like it wasn't no big thing, but it could have been a big thing to Chelsea if somebody else came and told her, "Oh, I seen your husband talking to this lady, and he told her she was real beautiful and all this other stuff." Now it's an issue. So, but I also learned that from a previous marriage. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'd rather you tell me this than somebody else tell me, and I'm like, man, whatever. But once it started getting back to other people telling her, it was a bigger issue where if I tell her, we could deal with it right then and there compared to it's like I'm hiding something. So, but like I say, with my mental right now, I'm so grateful for Chelsea because she's stronger than I would ever imagine. I'm not saying that everybody else that I was with wasn't strong, but I don't think they would have been able to be there for me the way I needed the way she is right now.
Amen. And I'm hoping she's nearby so you can get some brownie points for all these wonderful words you're saying. Um, in your experience, um, what happens when a man expects his wife to heal his wounds when he hasn't done the work himself?
I don't think I ever relied on any one of my spouses to heal my wounds. I didn't know what my wounds were. So, um, but if a man know he's damaged and he goes into the relationship expecting the woman to heal his damage without him doing the work or start without him peeling off the band-aid itself, then I would say it's almost a lost cause. Not to say that the marriage is going to fail or anything like that. I would say like it's a lost cause uh, for her. It's a lot of pressure on her. It's a lot of unwanted damage being done to her that she really didn't know she was signing up for. So any guy out there, like right now, if you're listening, whatever, driving in your car at work or whatever it may be, and I'm gonna tell you this, from man to man, like deal with your issues. Don't expect your woman to deal with it. Expect her to ride with you if she can. But if she can't, just know those are your issues, bro. You got to fix them. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect a woman to fix your problems because she can't. Those are not women problems. Those are men problems. And actually, those are your problems. So if she's saying, hey, come unpack your baggage with me, ride with it. But just be careful because some women don't really want to unpack your baggage. They just want to add more to it.
That's real. I'm not gonna front. That's real. I'm not saying I'm one of them women. I'm just saying it's real. I hear stories all the time. It's like a monster truck rally happening behind me. It's fantastic. I love it. What would you say to the men listening right now who he knows he has unhealed wounds, but he is currently feeling stuck and possibly ashamed? What would you say? Words of encouragement as we close out.
It's okay to be ashamed. Like, but just know it's not being ashamed is not you. Um, that's just a fear. You're ashamed of what other people will think of you, but you have to think about who created you. So for me, it's more of like I still feel certain ways being ashamed and things like that. But if I'm in the image of him, then that means I'm pretty much perfect, but I also have flaws. So I'm perfectly flawed in a way. So fellas, don't feel ashamed. Rip the band-aid off. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, but in due time, like the wounds will heal, the pain will go away. You may have still have a couple scars there, but those gonna be scars that you can always look back on and be like, I overcame this mark. I overcame that. I overcame that. And those are small accomplishments to a greater goal. So just don't be ashamed of your issues. Don't talk to anybody in your family really, man. Like I'll just be 100 with you on that until you actually go get some help from somebody who don't know you. Somebody who can't gain anything, can't use it against you, because they're gonna give you tips on how to deal with those people who can gain things from you and who can use you and harm you. But I would definitely say go get medical help. We as men don't want to say I need help mentally. Nah, bro, especially black men. Go get that help, man. Go get that. I think if I wouldn't been doing what I'm doing right now, I wouldn't be here right now. So go get help.
Final word. If you can go back and tell young Terrence one piece of advice before he got married, what would it be?
Before you got married, which time?
You could pick. Let's say the first time. You were type young. You were type young.
Yeah, I
Remind me
think
how old were you when you got married the first time?
when I first got married, I think I had just turned 21, or I might have been 20.
Okay, it's pretty young.
Let's see.
Pretty young.
Yeah, because Deja is 20 years younger than me. So I would have been 20 when I got married the first time. So if I was to go to that one, I'll tell you what, this is what I'll do. I'll break it down to each one real quick. All right. So first marriage. What would I tell that person? I love that woman to death. However, I would tell that person don't do it. I would tell him build his confidence and know what he want in life before he bring another person into the mix. That's what I would tell that person. Um, so let's go with the second one. The second one, I would say I would tell him know who he is and love yourself. Know who you are and love yourself before you get into that marriage. Um, with my Islamic wife, I will tell him to make sure that the foundation is strong. No leaks, no cracks, anything. And to this one right here, to Chelsea, what would I tell him? I would tell him to stay the course. Stay the course because what God has planned for you can no one take away from you. And what we are building, what you can build with her can be wonderful. Wow. And believe in yourself. So those would be the things that I would tell each one of the Terrence Dawan Wilson, each one of those, I would tell them that, like, because not saying that the marriages wouldn't prosper or flourish, it's just that person, me in particular, wasn't ready for each marriage. Um, when I felt like I was, but I wasn't. Everything was, you know, I can do it, and realistically, I couldn't do it if I didn't know those things that I know now.
Amen. Listen, Terry, thank you for being so real, so open today. I know this conversation is going to help a lot of men and women, honestly, who are walking through this, whether they are the husband themselves who is dealing with this undealt with trauma, whether they are the wife of a spouse dealing with undealt with trauma, or they're looking to get married and they still have undealt with trauma within them. And for those of you listening, if this resonated with you, stay connected. Please, we're going deeper this season. Our new ebook, I Still Do, A Godly Man's Guide to Lasting Love, is going to drop soon. You'll find reflections in there just like this and so much more. So subscribe, share this episode, and please, keep growing with us, people. As always, this is Jory O'Neill, Terrence Wilson, Godly Man's Perspective on Marriage podcast. Till next time, people, stay blessed, stay peace, and please deal with your trauma. The world's waiting for